Hello there, hoppers, and welcome! Now, with a new Tiny Toon show currently in development, the big question that is on most fans' minds is, will the original voice cast be returning? Or will this new show be a hard reboot featuring a brand new cast? Well, sadly not much information has been revealed at this time. But what we can at least say with certainty is that Don Messick, the voice of Hampton J. Pig, and Joe Alaskey, the voice of Plucky Duck, will both unfortunately not be coming back to reprise their roles, due to the fact that over the years they have both sadly passed away. So, therefore, even if the remaining cast do return, these are two characters that will have to be recast. But it goes without saying that their original voice talents will be sorely missed. And they won't be the only ones, it would seem, as Cree Summer, the voice behind Elmira, informed with a heartbroken tweet that her character will not be featured at all in the upcoming show. Now, I do actually have a few theories as to why this is going to be the case. However, that is something I'll be covering in another video. So, going back onto the topic of today's video, and it would seem that already the prospects of a Tiny Toons original cast reunion are not looking too promising. As for one reason or another, 3 major cast members from the original show will not be coming back. And that's not the only reason to doubt an original cast reunion, as a look at the show's description not only suggests older incarnations of the Toons, but also, as I discussed in my last video, this new Tiny Toons Looniversity might not even be a sequel at all, as the current official statements all hint at this new show being a hard reboot, rather than a true continuation of the original series. And if this does end up being the case, then I have no doubt in my mind that a completely new cast will be assembled. I mean, let's face it, if they're going to start from scratch, with a brand new show that doesn't continue from the last, then of course it would make sense for them to introduce a brand new cast, even if it is something that we don't want to see. But then again, even if this show does end up being a sequel, there is still a chance that they're going to recast the characters anyway. Because as I said before, the Toons are allegedly older this time round, which means their voices could be changed. And granted, the slight age incline shouldn't really change their voices much. Well, not the females anyway. It is still an excuse that the studio could potentially use. And when you consider the fact that out of the 4 leading roles from the original show, 2 of those actors have now passed on, one of them is still working on the Animaniacs show, and the other didn't exactly leave the original show on the best of terms, it wouldn't surprise me if the studio decides against pursuing the remaining cast altogether, and instead decides to bring in some new faces, or in the context of the show, new voices. However, that being said, not all hope has been lost just yet, because going back to Cree Summer's message, and although it does sadly announce her character's removal from the upcoming show, it's the fact that she even knows about it that gives me hope for the others returning. Because, so far, the only announcement we've had in regards to Elmira's departure comes straight from Cree herself. But the question is, how did she come by this information? Now, of course, she might just have some friends or colleagues involved on the new show who might have simply leaked her the information. However, that being said, judging by the blunt certainty in her message, it seems to me at least that rather than just a leaked rumour, Cree herself has been given in person the unquestionable confirmation from the actual source. Now, of course I am just speculating here, but if we are to believe that she has been in talks with the studio, then surely, thank you, that would mean that the other cast members have been in talks as well. Because if you think about it, if the characters are being recast, then surely, oh for God's sake, get out of here you loon! Unbelievable. So yes, as I was saying, if all the characters are being recast, then then you would think there would be no need to inform anyone from the original show if changes are being made. Because in the biggest of respects, it wouldn't actually have anything to do with them. Now, don't get me wrong, that's not the way I believe that things should be done, but that's reality for you. I mean, look at Tom Ruger. He created and produced both Tiny Toon Adventures and Animaniacs, and yet he still wasn't even approached for the Animaniacs revival. So, it would seem, if you're not involved, then you're not normally told, regardless of your past history. So, the fact that Cree has been told tells me that she may have, at some point, been involved, or at the very least, they have approached her. And if she has been approached, then maybe the other cast members have been as well, although hopefully this time to a much more positive outcome. But anyway, as I said, this is all just speculation, as there has currently been no confirmation, or hard evidence for that matter, that proves even Cree herself has been approached by the studio, let alone any of the other cast members. And as we've already established in this video, there are plenty of reasons why the studio either can't bring certain members back, or maybe just wouldn't want to. But, that being said, yet again it would seem, there is at least a little glimmering pearl of hope in this giant clam of doubt. As, when talking about his work on the new Animaniacs show, showrunner Wellesley Wild explained that Steven Spielberg himself was not only at every pitch meeting for the new show, but also that he insisted they maintain most of the elements from the original, including the original voice cast. And considering that Spielberg is also attached to the upcoming Tiny Toon show, there is a high chance that his motivations and demands for this show will be of the same calibre. And as for the conflicts I mentioned earlier concerning some of the original Tiny Toons cast, although it is true that Charlie Adler, the original voice of Buster Bunny, did in fact have a falling out with the studio, it is also true that quite a few years have now passed since that conflict. And, to be fair, Adler did actually return to voice Buster for the unreleased PlayStation 2 game, Defenders of the Looniverse. Or Universe, as it's apparently called. But yes, either way, there is still a chance that Charlie Adler may yet return to the series. And as for the legendary Tress MacNeille, the voice behind Babs Bunny, although it's true she may still be working on the Animaniacs show, she has worked on multiple projects before. In fact, for voice actors, this is a very common practice. So, I don't really see why she also wouldn't be willing to return to her character. I mean, she came back for Animaniacs, so I'm sure she would be happy to return to Tiny Toons. But either way, as I said, not much information has yet been revealed in regards to this new show. But despite the ever-lingering notion that this Tiny Toons Looniversity may in fact be a brand new show with a brand new cast, there is still the slight remnant of hope. The hope that this new show will be a true sequel to the original, bringing back not only the tunes we love, but also the cast. Well, most of them anyway. Well, hoppers, that just about does it for this video. If you enjoyed today's content, then give the video a like, and if you haven't already, then please support the channel by clicking on the subscribe button, as well as that notification bell. That way you're keeping up to date with all of the new content. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I have. Take care, hoppers, and I'll hopefully see you next time.